So, getting around safely. What fun. Um, you just get to this point of the form and you're just thinking, wow, I love life. Isn't it great? I just love everything about this form. It's so much fun to fill in. It's not designed to be fun, of course, but it does make you feel pretty down on yourself when you're going through these things and filling them out and making sure you get all the detail in there. Often I tend to find when I'm doing these kinds of forms, it's good to have somebody who knows you well to kind of talk about these things with them, because quite often they'll be saying, well, actually, you do this as well, and you do that, and you do the other, and you'll be like, oh my God, I do those things, don't I? I didn't realise I was that bad. I'm ready for the knackers yard. And it can be a bit depressing to go through all that. So it's good to have somebody there to kind of G you up a bit and balance you a bit and not feel too miserable, but also to pick up on things that you might miss or forget. So getting around safely is one of those things. We might think, well, we can see to cross the road safely on our own, and we might safely get around a place that we've been without having help. Um, those kind of things, especially if we've not been there before, that can be a bit odd. But we might think, well, yeah, I can do that. But then the person you're with reminds you, yeah, but don't forget you often trip and fall, don't you? Well, yes, that's true. So that would be, and it varies. And yeah, you can see to cross the road safely on your own most of the time, but sometimes you do have like dizzy spells and brain fog, and then actually not, I've had to stop you stepping out in front of cars a few times. Oh, yes, okay, you are right. So have a think about those things. You might think that yes, you can do these things at first, but really pick it apart and ask yourself, do you do that all the time? And again, put the information in here. So it might be saying, I I can go to the shop on my own because I know there's places I can stop and rest, and I live in a quiet area. But if I was in a more unfamiliar area where I've not been to before, I would need somebody else to help me because I would likely fall over or something like that. So again, this is another one of those sections where you need to think about your eyesight as well. Obviously, if you wear glasses or corrective lenses in some way, that sorts your eyesight out, then you're probably fine. But if you have a visual impairment, such as I don't know, cataracts or retinitis pigmentosa, severe retinopathy, things like that, then that might be something that affects your ability to walk around without help. It might be that you use a guide dog or a pilot cane, a walking piloting cane, a white stick, something like that. But you might prefer to stick to routes that you know very well, and again, that might also have some impact if you need to cross the road in certain areas or at certain times of day as well. So that might be important too, that you don't go out during a rush hour period, any of those kind of things. So bear all that in mind and put as much information as you can in there. This would also include things like locking up, which you might experience if you have Parkinson's. You might be able to walk reasonably, but at the same time you can't get around safely without the help of another person because of the locking up. You could be walking across the road and lock up in the middle of the road, things like that. So think about all of those things: epilepsy, seizures, fits, anything like that that could happen while you're out walking around. That all comes under this sort of thing. Okay.